1966. Got engaged to Carol in London. Christmas 1965.
Okay, well, I I came here in '65, and before I came here, Carol and I had been going out with each other, but we decided that we would have a no strings attached thing,
Right.
and I would go here, and we would both be free, so
Right.
to speak. So that was the deal in '65, and then I went home. I went back to England in 1966 for Christmas. We saw it. We'd been in touch all the time. We saw each other. We decided to get engaged, and we decided to get married in April '66.
Right. So when you say you decided to get engaged, was that a special thing? Did you do it at the pub? You had a ring? Was it your mother's ring?
No, I bought the ring in Hatton Garden, which is the diamond capital of part of London,
Oh, right.
and I think I think Carol and I went together. Mum and I went together, and we picked the ring.
Right. Right.
So yeah, no, there was no party. There wasn't an engagement party or any of that,
Right.
as far as I remember.
Was it a surprise? Like, did you bend your knee at a restaurant and
No,
embarrass
I
her or
didn't
anything
do
like that?
anything like that. No, to tell you the truth, I can't remember how I did it.
Huh.
But no, I can't remember. No. I do remember the ring and buying it in Hatton Garden.
Yeah.
That's about all I remember.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So you're engaged now.
So I got engaged at Christmas, then came back here,
Right.
and then Mum organised the wedding
Right.
in St Crispin's, which was the local church to her,
Right.
with this chap called, I think the Reverend Evans, I think his name was. Really nice bloke, had been a parachutist in the Second World War.
Right.
And so she organised all that, and then, the only thing I did was I was living in a room up until,
Yeah.
then.
On Lonsdale, right?
On Lonsdale, and then I rented an apartment on Jameson,
Right.
109 Jameson.
This was before you got married.
Yes, I rented
Right.
the apartment and sort of borrowed, begged, bought basic furniture, like a bed, table and chairs, and
Right.
stuck it in the apartment. And I must have been living in the apartment as well, briefly, because I flew to England on a Friday.
Right.
I had my stag party on Friday night at a pub called the George, which is opposite the Old Bailey, which is near where we used to work.
Right.
And then we got married on Saturday,
Yeah.
and we stayed overnight at Heathrow on Saturday night, and then we flew to Canada on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
So it wasn't a
Three.
very long engagement either. 3
well,
months.
3 months. Well,
Yeah.
there didn't seem to be any point in prolonging it.
Right.
That was it. We decided to be engaged, and her living there and me living here for years seems sort of redundant. We want to be together, so the sooner the better. So we did that, and we came back to 109 Jameson Avenue, apartment 709. And it was a bit of a. I'd never had an apartment before, and it came and it was sort of fairly modern with fridges and stoves and all that kind of nonsense. And
It was on the 7th floor.
eh?
It was on the 7th
Yeah,
floor.
balcony and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like for Mum, she came from her home in Bermondsey
Right.
there.
Childhood home.
Yeah, childhood home there. So it's pretty.
Well, it's a pretty big deal for her. I mean, if you think she only found out in December, for her to say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get married to this guy, and I'm going to move to a different country with him,"
Yeah.
and I'm going to say goodbye to all these people that I've been taking care of.
Well, her mum had died, and her dad and brother were in those days in reasonably good shape.
Right.
You know, they were both working, and you know, they both did night work. I mean, they had a sort of an odd life in that sense.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, you'll have to ask her. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know whether it was, you know, thank God I got out of here kind of thing, or what, you know. But anyhow, it was. I would have, you know, I think it was a culture shock for her. You know, you suddenly come to Canada.
Yeah.
And you know you're living in a high rise on a sort of, you know,
pretty main street at the time.
In the west end of Toronto, none of which she knew or where anything was. And
Well, she'd never been on a plane before either.
No, she'd never flown anywhere. And I think the only time she'd been out of the country before this was when we went and did our Viennese thing to Vienna. I think that was the only time. The first time she'd ever left England.
Right.
So, it was a, you know, brave thing to do. You know, she's going to live with this bloke, you know, who's already been over there for nearly a year.
Yeah.
You know, and she would come and, you know, we'd be married and you'd have I mean, you know, looking after me or doing, you know, like running the house was not going to be a damn sight easier with me than with Tony and her dad in a sense. But she had to get a job.
Right.
Yeah.
So she came here. You guys had an apartment together.
Yeah.
You were already employed, still working at Macmillan.
Yes.
And so she spent a couple of months to find a job, and then she got started.
She got a job quicker than that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know. She got a job, I think, within the first month. It may have even been within the first 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, she got a job pretty quick. Well, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Sit indoors all day or whatever.
Well, explore the city or something.
Yeah, but Mum doesn't sort of do that kind of thing, you know, on her own, you know. So she got a job at Pitman's.
Right. Right. And what was she doing there?
Secretary to the managing director, I think.
Oh, okay. Right.
Oh yeah, it was a decent job.
Yeah,
you know, but it sort of I mean, she, you know, knew shorthand or not Pitman.
Right.
I mean, you know, she had all the qualifications,
Yeah.
and she'd worked in British publishing.
Yeah.
So you know, like
She had good credentials.
yeah,
She had good experience.
yeah, and you know, and also had, you know, organised the whole art department and all this kind of crap. I mean, she,
And it probably didn't hurt that she was English.
it probably didn't hurt at all.
Right.
No, it wouldn't have hurt at all.
Right.
It would have gone down well.
Yeah.
So,
So that wasn't your honeymoon. Did you have a honeymoon? That
yeah,
year?
yeah. Well, we realised that, like, because, you know, we got back, Mum needed to sort of orient herself and needed to get a job.
Sure.
We decided that we would postpone the honeymoon.
Right.
And then because Rob was working for VSO, Voluntary Service Overseas,
Oh, okay.
a sort of, I don't know what what do you call them, NGOs? What are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those places.
Yeah.
In Montserrat,
Oh, okay.
in the Caribbean,
Right.
we thought that we'd go at Christmas
Oh, right.
for 2 weeks and,
Right.
you know, have
Right.
our honeymoon there,
Right.
which is in fact what we did.
Right.
And it was great.
So that was a year later.
Well,
It's actually the end.
yeah, a year later from the engagement.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And so Montserrat, did you stay at his hut, or like, did he have a hut? I mean,
No.
Were there
it was-
resorts?
I'm trying to think. No, there wasn't. It was like, there was a place called the Golf Club, which was the only place. I think it sort of had a hotel kind of thing. I think we stayed, I can't remember exactly, we stayed with Rob in the same building or something, you know.
right, had a room, guest suite or something.
Yeah, there
guest
was
room or
something we stayed.
Yeah.
I mean, you should ask Mum. I can't remember
Yeah.
precisely. I mean, all I can remember at the back garden was the goat
Right.
that they were fattening up, and in fact, we ate on Boxing Day on the beach.
Ah.
That was our meal.
Goat.
Christmas meal. Goat, yes. goat.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And it was nice because there was a group of these VSO people.
Right.
Like it was more, there was maybe half a dozen.
Right.
And so, there was sort of a community, there was a bunch of people.
Yeah,
So
small family.
we had a good time, and,
Yeah.
and it was hot and sunny and
Nice.
weird place, black sand,
Yeah, that's weird.
and it had what they call the soufriya, which was a sulfur mine, kind of sulfur thing that we climbed up to.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a sort of a volcanic island.
Right. Right.
So, and we met, people, there was one guy, a local, who thought Mum was Princess Margaret. And every time he saw her, he sort of said, "Oh, Princess Margaret."
Right.
It's a weird chat. I don't know, he was a bit sort of loopy, I think. But,
Right.
He had an idea that Mum was Princess Margaret.
That's weird. A strange local.
Yeah, anyhow, but it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.